You're listening to Clarity on Fire, a podcast for people who know what they don't want out of their life and career, but aren't sure what they'd rather be doing.
In a world where it's easy to exist, but hard to feel alive, we, Kristen
and Rachel,
two certified life and career coaches, are here to help you cut through the information overload, get unstuck, and focus not just on how you can have a career you're passionate about, but how to create a whole life that feels fulfilling.
So join us here, where we serve up inspiration and down-to-earth wisdom in a way that only two best friends can.
We want you to experience the relief of knowing that, yes, you're allowed to want more out of your life and career.
And no, you don't have to wander through the dark anymore. Our job is to light the fire that shows you the way. Let's go. Greetings.
Hello.
Welcome to your favorite thing, another message from the universe.
It is my favorite thing.
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about everyone listening to this. Because I know people really enjoy these.
Thing. Like I say that about normal person interviews. I say that about all kinds of stuff. So, but it is a favorite.
It is. And I'm learning to like it even when I don't hear what I want to hear.
You always hear what you need to hear.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean you're going to be happy about it.
No, doesn't mean you have to like it, but you can appreciate it.
That's like when Ron and Harry were learning to read the tea leaves in Professor Trelawney's class. And Ron was like, so you're going to suffer, but you're going to be happy about it. And honestly, that wasn't like totally inaccurate about Harry's journey.
No, that's
ironically enough.
Even though Professor Trelawney was
right old hack.
Mostly a hack.
She didn't know she was legitimate. Again, irony. Okay, well, maybe we're more legitimate than Professor Trelawney. Like, give us that.
I sure hope so. Goodness. If not, we're going way far.
Well, I hope you enjoy the class, direction. even if we are old frauds. Okay, before we dive in, though, I did want to read a recent review that we got because it was very nice, and I like to give people credit.
I love reviews.
I do enjoy them, and it's not too late to wish me a belated birthday because at the time we're recording this, it's still not my birthday, even though it's a week after.
And Rachel's favorite gift is a rating and review.
I'm a Leo. My favorite gift is attention.
Positive only.
Yeah. Okay. I started listening. Oh, this is called Changed My Life from Northwest Rabble. I started listening to this podcast in 2019 when I was at a low point in my professional life. I'd taken the passion profile quiz, but was in denial about the results. Side hustler. I hated my job and felt I'd lost touch with myself. I didn't know who I was anymore. This podcast made me question why I felt so stuck and depressed and gave me actionable ideas about how to make constructive changes. Rachel and Kristen's combination of angst and encouragement also spoke to my inner turmoil, and I did sign up for coaching eventually. Absolutely fantastic, BT dub. It changed my life for the better. I'm now on a path that is far more aligned with who I am, not who I was trying to be. As an aside, the Message from the Universe episodes are my favorite. They keep me focused on finding and listening to my intuition. I don't know which of our clients this is.
I love that review, though. That's lovely.
Whoever you are.
And here we go. We'll dedicate this message to the from the universe. Whoa. Well, this episode is for you.
God. Also, did you like how they said the combination of angst and encouragement? Now, I know they didn't mean to be like Rachel is the angst and Kristen is the encouragement. But I'm like, it's not wrong. It's not wrong.
I didn't think about it that way, but it works.
I mean, I can also be encouraging.
Sure. I can have angst.
Very
less common.
Like baby angst.
Like just a little wee bit of angst.
Just a smidgen. Okay, well, thank you, Northwest Rabble. We appreciate that.
That was a lovely review. We very much appreciate that.
Okay. All right.
Also,
remember how last time we told you to send us your stories, your universe stories? Well, some of you did, and we really appreciate it. We can't read all of them on the podcast,
but we had fun reading them. So we want more, please.
Yeah,
send us your universe stories. We can't get enough.
So either just submit a form on our site on the contact page, or you can email contact@clarityonfire.com. Subject universe or something. But we did have one that we wanted to read on the podcast because I think you'll understand why we had to read it.
It made us both literally LOL when we read it.
Yes.
Okay. A few months ago, Madeline, who some of you will recognize because she's been on our podcast in 3 times.
No.
She's
twice.
She
Once?
is a tarot reader.
Maybe only once. We just talk about her all the time.
Intuitive of all varieties. So apparently this person had a Madeline session.
Okay.
And Madeline mentioned in one of her videos the idea of giving spirit a name. And she said, let's request that the universe tell you what your personal vision or version of spirit's name is. So as I watched, I decided I'd like to know my spirit's name. And I'd like to recognize the sign because it would be connected to the idea of a bird landing on someone's head.
Very specific.
Very specific.
Great job at asking for a really random sign.
Mm-hmm. It's an image that had been strong in my mind recently and one I kept thinking and writing about. So, okay, that's where spirit's name is going to come from, is somehow a bird landing on someone's head.
Gotcha. Okay.
Then Madeline specifically mentioned that it might seem funny for spirit to speak to you through the HBO show you're watching. And I was like, oh, that's funny. I was planning to keep watching an HBO show right after this video. And as soon as I do, guess who appears in the show? A character with a seagull on his head. The other characters made a big deal about the fact that this guy has a seagull on his head. And he finally snaps, the seagull's name is Carl. This happened half an hour after I made the request for my spirit's name. Absolutely bananas. So, hey, Carl, what's up?
Carl with a K.
Carl with a K.
What up, Carl?
Wow. What a great name for a spirit.
I mean, can we just pack it up and go home? Like, nothing's going to be better than that. And
we should have done that one at the end.
I know. I'm just like, you doubters, tell me, come on.
That is absurd.
It's ridiculous. Not only is the bird on the head, then the bird gets a name.
They announce this bird has a name and it is Carl. And she was looking for spirit's name to come through in a message of a bird on someone's head. I mean, I couldn't make it up. I couldn't make that up.
Now, I don't know what you guys think is happening, but you can't deny something just happened there.
Something just happened. Instantly, too.
Instantly.
Half an hour later.
Amazing, Hillary.
Love that. Thank you for sharing that. One of the best I've heard in a while.
So I had an interesting one recently, just so you know. Did I tell you about this? I can't remember. I think I must have told you about. Well, you're going to find out if you knew this already.
I don't know what you're going to say, so we'll see.
So I was seeing badger signs everywhere.
I don't know this one.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Oh, this is great. Okay. So I was seeing badger signs everywhere. Like I saw it on the label of the new dish disposal that my dad put in because the product is the badger. Like that's the name of the dish disposal that my dad.
Animal you hear reference to all the time.
No, do you expect to see it on your dish disposal?
And I don't see the connection, but okay.
Later that day, I was listening to a podcast and someone randomly mentioned a badger. Again, it doesn't come up that often in conversation. And then I was like, that seems weird. I'm going to look it up because normally I wait until I get 3 signs. I was like, this has happened so quickly that I'm going to look it up. Now, the backstory of this is that I had been hot off the heels of my whirlwind dating adventures of the last few months, which I chronicle in the episode from 2 weeks ago, the normal person interview I did. I'd been sort of wondering, I think I'd gotten into a bit of a funk because I had been doing all of that and then I moved back into my place and it kind of like everything just felt like it was dying. Like, as in there was no momentum anymore. It felt like, what did I just do all of that for? I feel like I've made no progress. And I was getting into like an inner critic kind of spiral and just a bit of a funk. And so I was, just being kind of gloomy or something and wondering, maybe I just need to do less or something. It's just talking myself out of being myself, basically. Mm-hmm. And I look up the meaning of the badger sign. And it literally is, this is a sign about perseverance, determination, and being willful. And it is a sign about you would rather die than give up. And I was like,
Wow.
I've never heard something describe me better than that. Literally, you would rather die than give up. And it's true.
Maybe the badger is your spirit animal.
Right now, it might be.
Maybe it's your Patronus.
It might be.
I could see
actually, I could really see that. That's a good one. And then later on, I was opening up my medicine cabinet and I was pulling out some like SPF sunscreen. And God damn it, there is a badger on it.
Just to drive it home one more time.
And not only that, the next day I woke up and I was looking at Instagram comments on like someone else's post, and someone with badger in their username was like the top comment. So like it kept coming just to hit the point home. It kept coming. So I actually, bringing it back full circle to Madeline, I had a session with her recently where she was like, it's really hard to be someone who can't give up. Like if you're physically incapable of doing it, which means you kind of suffer more than other people because you can't settle. Like you can't do it. And so you kind of have to just keep going. And there is difficulty in that. And I was like, well, I already knew that because Spirit told me in the form of badger signs.
Which I'm sure she loved.
She loved. Yeah, of course. So anyway, if you feel hounded by something, you got to Google it. You got to be like, spiritual meaning badger. That's what I did.
Yeah, because it's trying to tell you something. So you might as well get an interpreter to help you out.
And then like see what resonates, because not every interpretation will resonate.
Sometimes you don't need an interpreter because they say the bird's name is Carl. It's pretty obvious.
You don't need, right.
Sometimes you got to figure out what does a badger
mean?
Why is this badger badgering me?
I was being badgered. Okay. So, all right. There was that.
So now that's just to get you excited about today's message.
Yeah. Once again, I'm doing these cards and I'm seeing cards as I'm shuffling that I've never seen before. And I'm like, okay.
I just love getting cards. I'm going to put that out there. I love getting cards we haven't seen
in that way.
Can we get more of those?
Well, yeah, let's get what we need. But also if what we need can come in the form of new things, that'd be good.
That's fun.
Okay. So we're going to, if you can hear, I always have to,
sound effects.
I'm shuffling. Okay. So I think we'll do what we've been doing, which is open to interpretation. We'll pull 3 cards. There'll be a left one, a center one, and a right one. You can either choose just a singular card to be your message for the day, or you can take them as a whole. You can kind of do past, present, future. You know what? You could also switch up the order if you wanted to. Like, I'm going to read it left to right, past, present, future. But if you're like, you know what? No, I want it to be.
Let's start with the future and then work backwards.
Yeah.
Okay. You can do that.
Do it. Yeah. If there's something weird that calls to you, this is yours. Take it and do with it what you will.
You can also listen and let that become clear based on what the message is and how it relates to you. That's fine.
Sometimes I do that. Francisca, who we've had on the podcast multiple times, she does like a monthly tarot reading on YouTube. And sometimes she usually does like 3 sets of 3. And sometimes I'll be like, okay, the first one's my career and the second one's romance or whatever, right? And then sometimes I'll just listen to it and I'm like, I'm going to know which one is which as I listen. And I always do.
Yep.
So
especially when we give a group message like this, it might hit you a little bit differently. Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
Or it could be, and we always struggle with this one. Go ahead, say it.
It's the problem. It's the answer or solution to the problem, and then the outcome on the other side.
Okay. I never want to say it like
you
that.
Never like that, but that's how it makes sense to me. You want it to be the nature of the problem or something.
Well, kind of like, here's the problem. Here's where the problem is coming from. I think we really probably need 4 cards, but that's fine. I think you think the problem and where it's coming from are the same. And I think that that's different because the problem could be my leg hurts and it could be like, well, why does my leg hurt? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I guess I'm just more interested in what do I do about it? Great. How do I solve it? And then what's going to happen once I solve it?
Great. Angst encouragement. I'm like, let's talk about why it hurts. And you're like, let's just get over it. Okay.
Well, that might come through in the problem itself, as we're describing what the problem is.
We're still just going to do 3 cards. So problem, the potential solution to the problem, and then the outcome of the events. Okay. All right. So I'm going to split this deck into thirds. And I'm going to pull from the bottom this time. I don't know why. I just feel that is correct. Okay. I just listen to my gut. Okay. You ready for the left card and or the past and or the problem. And
Correct.
or whatever you want it to be, because this is your reading. Okay. All right. And of course, if you need to pause before I flip this over and actually, if you want to get a message around something specific, great.
You can pause and pose a question.
Sure. And if you don't, you just want to hear what you need to hear, great. Okay. Number 11, balancing act. We've never seen this before.
It's pretty.
And this card, I kept pulling it while I was shuffling.
Okay. So that one really
wants to come out.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. So it is a woman on, like, Kristen, a pedestal. And
that's
she's
a little nugget for anybody who's
she looks
recently.
almost like a statue that's human, like that's kind of come to life, and like a Greek kind of white marble type statue. And she's holding this string that's going across the card into, like, outside of the frame. And on it is a glass orb balancing on this string. And on top of that is a ship. And then there's, like, heart confetti floating around the ship on the glass orb on a wire.
Okay.
In midair.
There's a lot going on.
There's a lot going on. Obviously, I will take a picture of this.
It's very light colored, though. A lot of whites. It's very neutral toned.
Except for the red hearts, the confetti hearts.
True.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, all right. Go ahead.
Okay. We always get a little quote at the beginning. And this time it's, "You are calm within, no matter the fluctuation of outer conditions."
Okay.
There are times when things seem a bit topsy-turvy, and it feels as if you're juggling 1,000 balls in the air. Perhaps you're unsure of your footing. Now is the moment to evaluate which areas of your life need balance and then restore equilibrium. Choose harmony over discord, and great success will be yours. You'll find inner stability when you choose a balanced, focused, and level path.
Mm-hmm. If we were doing tarot, we would have just gotten temperance.
Yep. The scales and
no, that's
judgment.
Temperance is
nothing in excess.
The two, it's like an infinity sign in between these two cups, where it's like I pour into one, it pours back into that one. Right, like it's the ultimate balancing act.
Mm-hmm. So if you chose just this card, I feel like you've got almost the problem and the solution.
Yeah,
all in one here.
Moderation is called for, it would seem.
If you got this one as the past, maybe you've already done some balancing.
Recalibrating, maybe that could be a word.
Things were out of balance, or things were topsy-turvy, or like you were juggling a lot of different things and now it's settling down.
That phase has maybe come to an end.
That resonates for me personally. Or if this is the problem, you might be out of balance. This might be highlighting.
You might know it because you're topsy-turvy right now.
Right. Like, we are not in balance. We're going to need some more balance. So let's see.
Okay.
Let's see where we go next. Okay. We'll go to the center card now.
Now, we've gotten this one before. Number 30, making a choice. It is a stone walkway in the sky. Also in the sky. This one was also in the clouds. The first one was in the clouds. This one is also in the clouds. And the stone path veers into two smaller stone paths. One leads to a door with like almost like yellow light and a couple of white birds coming out of it. And the other leads to a door with more purple light and butterflies coming out of it.
Okay. This one is called Making a Choice. And our little quote is, "You're required to come to a decision now." Well, that's clear.
Great.
Okay, let's hear a little bit more.
All right.
You're faced with a dilemma or fork in the road and must make a conscious choice regarding the next right action. Whatever that choice is, you must take responsibility for it, yet you needn't be afraid. You may not have all the answers right now because the way ahead can't be known until you've embarked and traveled a few steps. Trust your intuition. Ask for a sign from spirit, like a bird on someone's head. And
just an example.
You will be led to the right path. If you remain conscious and aware, your choice will be the right one at this time. Life is always about learning. Success lies in choosing consciously, guided by intuition and spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. This one, like we said, this could just be
your
Card,
message.
in which case you got very clear guidance right there.
Mm-hmm.
You are required to come to a decision now.
Required. Mandatory.
Okay. If this is the present, maybe you've done some rebalancing. and now it's time to make a choice, and you have a fork in the road.
Right.
So you came out of some tumultuous times, and now it's time to move in a different direction.
Well, maybe because you've recalibrated, you're now capable of making a good choice.
Yeah, maybe
and if this
you needed to make a decision, but you couldn't until now.
And if this is more of the problem and then the solution to the problem, that's also clear, which is in order to get to the point where you're capable of making a good choice, you need to rebalance and recalibrate and like set yourself back to rights, because you're probably not going to make a choice that you're happy with if you make it from a place of topsy-turvy.
Mm-hmm. Or you might have to make a choice like, what am I going to let go of in order to get back to balance?
Mm-hmm.
Or what boundary am I going to set?
For sure.
In order to feel like I'm not juggling quite so
I might
much.
have to let go of some things. Well, okay, let's see what the third card is, because that will give us more context.
Yes.
Okay, ready for the right card? Okay. 31, dry desert.
Oh, we were in the air and now we've
gotten
come
this
down to land
before too, but a long time ago, like maybe a year or more ago. Okay, so it is a woman standing in the midst of a stark desert. There's cacti. The sky is beautiful, but there's not much going on. She's just looking out to the horizon.
Okay.
Dry
desert doesn't sound like where I want to end up on the end of this journey, but we'll see.
Hold on, you just don't know.
Here's our little quote. Dig deep for inspiration and truth. Now is the time to become resilient and adaptable. Is your life presenting you with opportunities that seem to yield nothing? Have your ideas dried up? Does it feel like you're on an endless journey through a dry, hot, lifeless desert? This card reminds you that there are times when you're meant to become resilient as you journey through harsher circumstances. You're being required to conserve your energy until, after consistent effort, you reach the oasis that you're searching for. Consider the creatures that live in these conditions. They have adapted to thrive in spite of the outer environment. In a desert, water, which is essential for life, can be found deep underground. Go deep within yourself now. Find your truth there. Let spirit sustain you while you locate the real source. Whatever it is you're asking about will not be found in the conditions you're in until you move past the surface of things and choose to do the real work. This will help you discover the answers deep within you. May not seem like the most productive time, but looks are deceiving. This is a most important place to find out what's truly right for you.
Mm-hmm. I'm interpreting this as when you make a decision. Madeline actually told me this in my last reading. So this is kind of underlining that. Sometimes when you make a choice, it feels like you have to cut back and you have to prune. And even with a healthy plant, sometimes it'll feel like, did I just kill that plant? Like, did I cut too much? Did I pare back more than I should have? And so it's going to look like things are dying. Like that's what it looks like happening in a desert, even though a desert is very much alive.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot is happening under the surface in a desert. There's actually a lot of abundance potentially under the surface that you can't see. And so to trust that if I make a choice, even if I'm having to say no to something, or if I'm having to go in a direction and I don't totally know or trust where it's going to lead, that I'm not going to end up dead and shriveled up the way that I think I'm going to mentally. Like, it's like my gremlin thinks I'm going to end up in a desert and I'm going to become a husk, and that's not actually going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My interpretation is related. I'm seeing this as when life is out of balance, there's too much going on. It's chaotic. You're juggling a million things. It's topsy-turvy. And then if you make a choice that I'm going to significantly pare down, cut some things out, focus on what I really need to focus on,
recalibrate on what matters,
then that might look like
my life has become a desert. Yeah.
It's gotten really small because I had so much going on. I've intentionally made a decision to cut down. But now without all that outer distraction, I can go deep within.
Yeah.
And I have the capacity to do that deep work to figure out, what do I really want next?
Yes. Also, a desert's not small. A desert is vast. And that's actually probably what scares you, is all that. It's not that it's small. It's that I've got too much time on my hands.
Yep.
Or I've got,
the real answers will come in that time,
in that space.
If you if you allow yourself to go inward in that time instead of filling it back up with external stuff.
So it's not a bad outcome. I don't want you to hear that and read into it to mean, oh, I'm going to be trudging through a dry desert for the rest of my life.
No, I was a little nervous when we saw the card, but actually I think I love this outcome. This one feels very relevant to me. This is what I want. I want to slow down and go inward after life has felt very crazy and chaotic for a little while.
Well, interestingly, right? Like if you're balancing because your life is topsy-turvy because you haven't made any choices potentially, and then you make a choice, your choices are going to seemingly dry up, literally like a desert. But that doesn't mean that you actually are powerless or that you don't have any choices anymore. But sometimes it feels like that after we've chosen a direction. But keep going, drilling down deeper on that direction. That's where the life is.
And you'll get guidance about, now what? I've made this decision. Where do I go from here?
Yeah.
That was a good one. That all tied together nicely in my mind, at least.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Well, as always, we want to know how this spoke to you. I always get great emails.
It's an interesting one.
Clients and from people who it speaks to everyone a little bit differently, but just in the right way.
But like everyone ends up saying, oh my God, that was exactly what I needed to hear. I'm like, are we all just really good at convincing ourselves that's what we needed to hear? Or is it actually what we needed to hear?
I think I can hear the same message and it relates differently depending on where you're at. So I trust it's the right message. It just might mean something different for you than it means for me or anybody else.
Even when people listen to it, like they go back and listen to an old one, it's usually what they needed to hear that day.
Oh yeah, I've definitely heard people say that, which is fun.
Yeah.
The timing always works out.
For sure. Okay.
And again, if you have universe stories that relate to today or that don't, that are just fun,
and you want to share, maybe we'll read it on the next one. I do like the idea of getting in the habit of reading one or two every time we do this. I love that idea. Or sharing ours, because God knows, I have them.
Oh yeah.
All the time. I'm dreaming them. I'm encountering them.
I don't get them in dreams because I don't remember my dreams like you do, but
I have a very active dream life.
I get them in the form of license plates and songs and other such things.
That's one of the reasons I got on Bumble, is because I saw it on a license plate.
I remember that.
Yeah. And I was like, well, all right. I mean, and then topsy-turvy. And then topsy-turvy.
Life ensued.
And then topsy-turvy. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I need to make a choice. I actually was interpreting that about something different, but it's interesting when applied to different areas of your life too.
Yeah. That's always kind of fun. You could re-listen with something else in mind and it might strike you differently.
Yeah. Okay. Well, share your stories with us and, let us know how this one resonated with you, of course. And we will be back. What is that? When are we? We're in August. We'll be back next Friday with a new Dear Rachel.
Okay. See you then.